Right, let's move on to what we think were some of the biggest surprises this year and what we can look forward to next season. When I take a look at the surprises, one of the teams that surprised me because I wasn't sure how big of a step they were going to take would be the Carroll Chargers and the job Doug Dinan did. Not only did they play exceptionally well at home, they go 5-2 in conference and really give every team a good scare in those losses.
Oh, we've talked for a couple of years now that Carroll was a sleeping giant. Why weren't they better than they were? They should have been better than they were. And when are they going to turn the corner? Guess what, folks? Carroll's awake, and they're a force to be reckoned with. Doug Dinan was a great assistant coach at Snyder. He's brought that mentality to Carroll. He's got a toughness. That was the really impressive thing about Carroll. They played with a toughness, a moxie about them. And yeah, Doug Dinan and those kids have done a great job. And that's something, as long as Doug Dinan's there, guess what? We're going to be talking about Carroll football for the next few years.
Other teams that you think were big surprises and have bright futures?
Well, my biggest surprise this year, and again, we could pick a number of them, but I really was surprised at the Northside Redskins. The job Ryan Hall did, we knew they'd be better this year, but did we think they'd get off to a 5-1 start? I don't know about that. Did we think they'd snap Dwinger's 38-game winning streak? Not sure about that. Did we think they'd beat Snyder for the first time in 26 tries? I don't know about that, but guess what? They did. And they've got a lot of talent coming back next year, so guess what? They're going to be around for a while too. But the job those kids at Northside did and Ryan Hall did, way back into the offseason where they were talking about the season and they're in the weight room and they're pumped up. I mean, they were pumped up in December for this coming September. And so that mentality, that attitude about the Northside kids just carried over into the season. They had a great year this year.
Yeah, I think, we talked about how Snyder had the best second half of the season outside of Lures, obviously. But I don't know if anybody had a better first half of the season than Northside. The job that they did and just the way that they came out, they were intense, they were ready, they were prepared, and that was the team you didn't want to face because you knew they had some talent.
No, they did a great job, and like I said, they have a lot of that talent back next year, so they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the SAC.
Also want to point out, East Noble, it seemed like they graduated basically all their skill position players from last year, and you're like, well, they're not going to be all that good up in Kendallville. They were. They were a pretty tough out. 4-3 in conference, 7-4 overall. And Coach Depew, I think, we didn't mention him during the Coach of the Year, but he's one of those guys you could throw in the hat, I think, as well.
Oh, sure. What he did was he figured out the pieces that he had and how best to utilize them. I saw them really get smoked by Homestead early on in the season, which a lot of teams got smoked by Homestead. But and they really went back to running the football a lot, just hard-nosed, gritty, tough East Noble night football. And they did. They played their best football late in the season, which is a real sign of a good coach, much like Snyder with Coach Tipman. The teams that played better in the second half and heading into the tournament, those are the best coaching jobs, and East Noble fits that bill.
Yeah, I also think New Haven, with Jim Rowland, the job that they did, you had Hurst, obviously, but Lucas Salerno, you lose a four-year start at quarterback, Brandon Pease at receiver, you lose him. They lost their best offensive lineman, and yet still competitive in conference and still playing very well. And with a new quarterback and Lydell Trainer, I mean, they're a difficult team to defend.
Right, and they lose Hurst this year because he graduates. But I got news for you. New Haven will be tough next year as well.
Yeah, they have got a lot of pieces, and only getting bigger is the school.
Yeah.
Therefore, the program getting a lot more talent. Final question, are we going to be talking next year about the exact same thing, about Lures winning another state championship? 4 in a row?
Yes, I think we will. I think they have a lot of weapons back. Yes, they lose James Kanapke, who's my top quarterback, as I mentioned, but Jalen Smith is returning, Tyvel Jemison, Michael Rogers. Think about the speed that they have. Kendrick Mullins back, Everett Green's back. They've got a number of guys coming back, a lot of veterans, a lot of speed, a lot of athleticism. And you know what? People will say, well, they lost their quarterback. That's a big hit. It is a big hit. But remember 3 years ago when a scrawny, scruffy-faced James Kanapke kind of just took over and managed the game, stayed out of the way, didn't throw the crucial interception, just kind of did what he needed to do as the older guys carried the team. That's what will happen next year. You wait and see. I can't imagine them not winning the 2A state championship again next year. Now, will they run roughshod through the SAC? I don't know about that because, like I said, Northside's got a lot of people back. And I got news for you. Those people that enjoyed taking shots against Bishop Dwenger this year, enjoy the memories, because that's over. Bishop Dwenger will be back next year. Yes, they lost 5 games this year, 3 in conference, which is unheard of, but Bishop Dwenger has a lot of young players that are going to work hard in the offseason as well. They will be back. And then like programs like Leo and Cherubusco's won 51 games in 5 years. Guess what? They're not going to go 2-8 next year. They're going to be good again next year. Leo the same way.
Got to echo what you said about Dwenger playing so many sophomores this year. Yeah. As we all know in high school athletics, it's cyclical and it goes down. But I'll tell you what, at a place like Dwenger, it's going to go back up in a hurry.
Sure it will.
And those guys, Fire Cable, Watercutter, all those younger players that got big time this year are going to be pretty experienced when it comes to the SAC season next year.
Yes, I will.
Well, Tom, it's been a pleasure talking with you every week about high school football this season. Hopefully, we'll be back next season talking prep football here in Northeast Indiana.
All right, looking forward to it.
All right, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next year.